Hi, it's Lisa, and today I wanted to basically show you my newest, what I like to call fixer-upper wig. So I did get this secondhand. This is an iWig, it's 16-inch. It's a couple of years old. The person who owned it prior said that she didn't use it like for 2 years straight, but she used it kind of sporadically in a collection with a few wigs when she was wearing wigs. And the price was just kind of so good that I didn't want to pass it up, because I figured if anything, I can use it for like a Walt Disney World park wig. We do live very close to the park, so we go there a lot. And in the middle of summer in Florida, you know, when you're just sweaty and it's hot and yucky, you don't really want to wear your best wigs. So I like to keep my really nice new iWigs for just specific occasions to wear, but I don't like to wear them really for like everyday use. And also, I do like to have a more inexpensive option for when I do go to work. So I'm going to discuss kind of the couple things that I did notice about this wig and things that will, you know, need to get fixed. But again, you know, I knew there was going to be some issues with it, and the price was right, and I think it's actually going to come out okay. So basically the couple issues are the hair is a bit dry, and it does have a little more frizz, you know, than of course like a newer iWig would have, but again, to be expected. As far as the hairline, it looks pretty good. There is a little bit of thinning, but it's really not that bad. The lace is actually very long on it, so I'm definitely going to be trimming that lace back for sure. And as you can see, there's a lot of brassiness to the color. So over time, the color just really turned this very brassy blonde. So I'll add a little picture of what it looked like when she bought it new, and then this is just kind of what the color has done, you know, over time. Let me show you the back. So as you can see, to me, it looks like it just needs a really deep conditioner. I do feel like this wig was thinned at some point, because I did see thinning shear marks in different spots. So we'll probably try to straighten that up a little bit after the color is done and it's washed and everything. I did throw one tiny curl just in the front, and I changed the part just to kind of see, you know, how it looks, how it curls, and the hair actually curled fine. So really the main issue with this is just color needs to be refreshed for sure. Lace needs to be trimmed, and then it probably needs a little trim in the hair. As far as the cap, it did not come with a little strap, and I did have to grab one of my little straps off my other wigs to put it on and get it to fit me correctly, but I usually do use a little strap anyway. So I'm going to video the progress and just kind of show you what I do with this one, and then show you the final result. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with trimming the lace back, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and just do an overall tone and really just try to get some of that brassiness cut and try to get a little more of a neutral blonde. Now, I am thinking I might want a tiny bit of warmth still left in this, but you know, I just want to get the brassiness out. So that's kind of my plan. So let's see, let me put on my old person glasses. And so I think I'm going to start down by the ears. So the thing that you really want to watch for when you're cutting the lace by the ears is iWigs have this hair that comes out underneath the wig by the ear. That actually helps kind of hide that ear tab. So you don't want to cut that hair. You want to for sure leave that hair. But personally, I don't care for the little flappy, you know, by that. So I do try to cut that down quite a bit. So I think that's going to work. So here's that lace, just trimmed a little. I definitely think that's a little bit better. So next we're going to go to toning. I decided I'm actually going to change what I'm using a little bit. So I'm going to do The majority is going to be 10N, which is just a neutral, and then I'm going to do a little 10GI with that and a little bit of 9V just to kind of cool it down. And this is the developer I like to use. This is the one that is the gel formula, so it's a little bit easier to put on than the other formula that Shade ZQ carries, which is a little more watery. So as far as the toner, because I do have to be a little more careful around that lace and the silk top, I like to do the silk top portion last, and I like to get the color overall first, and then very carefully I use a brush to get it anywhere where there's lace to try to not touch the lace. It can darken the knots a little bit if you get it down to the lace, and it can also change the color of the lace. So steer clear of the lace and just be careful on your silk top. So I'm going to start with the 10N because I want the majority to be the 10 neutral, and I'm going to do 1 ounce of that. And I think I'm going to do, let's see, I'm at 1.09. Sometimes it's a little tiny bit off. I'm going to do 10 GI next, and I'm going to bring that up to 1.4 total. And I'm going to add 0.25 of the V. And then I'm going to zero it out and add the exact same amount as the total in the developer. You mix that up real well. Grace says I make way too much toner and then I waste it. But since I'm not a hairdresser, I always like to have a little bit extra just in case. So we're going to start with those ends. I don't know why my thumb never wants to work, and I have a hard time putting it on, so I am going to do it kind of with the lid off. I need to get a better bottle. I need to get easier squeeze bottles for sure. And now I'm going to kind of go around that lace part and just try to be careful not to get it on the lace. And I'm going to start at that front hairline around the lace. And for sure, this is not professional technique. So Grace puts this on a lot better than I do. I just make sure that I hit every spot, but I am not a professional. I just like to play with color occasionally. And I find the lighter colors don't really stain the silk. I don't know if that's true for every brand or if it's just iWig. I've only colored iWigs, and it kind of looks like it's aging up nicely. So now we're gonna set the timer for 20 minutes and come wash it off. And then I'm gonna deep condition it and do at least like a 15-20 minute very deep conditioning treatment. And then we'll let it dry overnight and see where we're at tomorrow. I haven't decided yet if we're gonna do any like low lights or anything with this one. I just wanted to see kind of how it came out once it was toned first and then kind of make that decision. And here it is wet, just kind of rinsed. You can see that it definitely looks more beige and neutral than it did. So I think it's actually gonna turn out really nice. So I'm gonna shampoo it now and then condition it just from the ears down with a very deep conditioner, which I'm gonna leave on for about 15 minutes. I'll see you soon. So I'm gonna hang it dry overnight. It did get a deep conditioning treatment and the hair actually felt a lot better afterwards. I'm hoping once it's dry, the hair will be a little softer and kind of less frizzy than it was before. So overall, very happy with how the color looks wet. I can't wait to see what it looks like dry and curled. See you tomorrow. So here she is all dry and straightened, and it actually, the color came out really nice. It definitely is less overall warmth than gold, which is what I wanted. It does still have some slight warmth to it, which I also was hoping for. The only thing I did notice when it was drying was it definitely has a few issues. One of the issues I found was there's several areas through the silk top where it almost looks like somebody tried to thin it in the silk top, which is a big no-no. You never do that. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to make these less noticeable, if I should just, you know, cut some of them shorter. Now, some of them look like flyaways, which is fine because it'll make it look more natural, but there are definite areas where I'm pretty sure someone had thinned it from the silk top, which is a big no-no. You never thin from the silk top. There's a little area right there. But overall, with the deep conditioning and the straightening, the hair is actually still very movable and in real good condition overall. It felt very dry before doing like a deep conditioner on it, and I used some K18 oil before I straightened it and some Pureology spray. I pretty much did everything I could think of to really try to get this hair back healthy, and it feels pretty good. So I'm gonna go curl it now and see what it looks like. So it's now the next day, and it air dried overnight, just hanging up, and I flat ironed and then I curled it. The only other thing I did do to this was there were a lot of hairs cut in spots where it looks like it was attempted to be thinned from the silk top, which I never cut from the silk top or thinned from the silk top. That's just my opinion, but I did have to kind of fix some of those. So I felt like I was doing wig surgery. So I went in with close-up glasses, with magnifying glasses, and just tried to clip here and there just to try to make them look more like flyaways and not like a chunk of hair here and there, like at the same length cut. So this is the final result. Let me show you the back. And it actually got quite a bit of movement back after the deep conditioning treatment. I did a Pureology treatment and then just K18 oil, let it dry, and then more K18 oil before styled, and then a tiny bit more even afterwards. And you know, it still is not like as silky as like a new iWig, but I would expect that. You know, this is a 2-year-old wig. So for it being 2 years and now being refreshed, I actually am totally happy with it. And I know I'll get a lot of use out of it for things like, you know, going to the Disney parks. We live just right around the corner from them. Or, you know, maybe even a work wig. But it's nice to have something inexpensive that looks nice, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if it gets damaged in any way. The only other thing to mention is it does have a little bit of balding at the lace front, but it's really not that bad. You know, I've seen a lot worse, and I think it's pretty maskable. It's fairly hideable, if that's a word. I'll show you kind of the close-up, and you can. We'll see if you can see it. And there's actually some spots too where it looks like it was trimmed, the hair up here where there was chunks that I had to try to kind of even up a little bit. So, you know, but overall, very happy with how it turned out, how the toner turned out, especially since I did it. You know, I asked Grace her opinion, but I ended up doing it and it came out a little bit warmer than I had expected. But I'm okay with that. I figure next time it needs a tone, if it needs another tone before it lives the rest of its life out, then I'll definitely add more violet and try to get it more on the ash side. Try to cool down that warmth a little bit more. Now, because it was thinned, you know, not from the areas that I would thin it, but because it was thinned, it's actually a really nice density overall, because they did end up taking, I believe, mostly from that silk layer. And I have given this wig a name. Her name is Hagatha. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I love doing these things because a lot of times people think a wig doesn't have a lot of life left. And it turns out with, you know, conditioning treatment, maybe a haircut, hair color refresh, that a lot of times you can kind of bring them back to life and get some more use out of them. So thank you for watching and have a great week, everyone.